Alright, this is episode 3 of Notebook Nuggets, a series where I go through some personal growth insights that I've came across recently and find worth sharing. Today's episode is going to be a good one, and let's get straight into it. So, the fluff is necessary. So I've just finished the book How to Win Friends and Influence People, and I've realised how important all the fluff is. The fluff could be seen as like the non-essential stuff, and I got into my head that most self-improvement books have 2 or 3 main points and the rest is just filler to get it to 300 or 400 words. But there's a big difference between knowing something and understanding it, and I've came to the realisation that all that filler is necessary. In How to Win Friends and Influence People, there is this quote: "You can make more friends in 2 months by becoming interested in other people than you can in 2 years by trying to get other people interested in you." And I've known about this quote for years at this point, but it wasn't until I've read this book and heard some of that filler information that it's really stuck with me. And while reading the book and reading through all the filler, I learned that this quote first comes up when the author is talking about his dog Tippy and how it unfortunately died after it got struck by lightning. He then goes on to say how loving his dog was and that his dog didn't need to know anything about psychology to realise that he could make more friends in 2 months by becoming interested in others rather than trying to get others interested in him. And for me, just knowing how that quote first came about in the book has made it more sticky, and it might make me more likely to put that quote into action. Alright, the next insight is about keeping your interests under control. So I've got this unhealthy habit of trying to juggle too many hobbies and interests. I'll come across something, let's say darts, and I'll get into it, really enjoy it. I'll be starting to make some progress at it, then I'll be like, fuck it, let's learn Japanese or get better at golf or basketball or boxing or whatever. And before I know it, darts, a thing I was making some progress in, has taken the back seat and it's not really a part of my life anymore. Now, my interests should change with time, but I definitely get overexcited by things, but it means I'm making less progress in everything, because as soon as I'm not super excited about what I'm doing, I move on to the next thing. And this is an insight I got from Dr. K. So instead of doing 1,000 different things, do thing number 1, then move on to do thing number 2, and then when I'm bored, move on to thing number 3. But stop, don't go on to 4, 5, 6, 7. Instead, go back to thing number 1, because by that time you might be interested in it again. And I guess it's dependent on your cool down time. I guess some people could play darts for years without getting bored of it, and some people, like me, might get bored of it after a month. So yeah, I guess the next time I'm considering trying a new hobby, I should maybe look at what I did in the past and return back to something I've already got some experience in. Alright, next insight, the confidence-competence loop. Now, I did recently do a video on this. I probably posted it recently, but essentially a way to gain confidence is you do the thing, and as you get better at it, more competent, your confidence will naturally increase. That doesn't mean you should just go out and try and gain confidence in every area of life, because working hard for something that you don't really care about just to come across more confident could be seen as pointless stress. But when you're working hard for something that you care about and genuinely want to get better at, it will feel more like passion, and the stress and awkwardness will have some meaning behind it. I also mentioned in that video that it's important for me and for anyone who's overly fearful of starting new things to start building a belief in themselves that they have the ability to withstand difficulty. Because when you know you can try something that's scary and get through it, you'll be more likely to try more things and get into that confidence-competence loop. And the final nugget is that AI is irrelevant. So it's definitely true that AI and robots will take over loads of people's jobs, but that's not an excuse to not learn new skills. Let's say it takes your job away, but you learned a bunch of stuff. That's a win-lose, and you'll likely be able to adapt. Let's say AI takes your job away, but you decided not to learn anything because you were scared that would happen. Well, that's a lose-lose, and you've got no skills, plus AI took your job. Finally, let's say AI doesn't take your job away in the future, and you learned loads of skills. Then that's a win-win. And this is a quote I heard from a guy called Pirate Software. Invest in yourself, adapt to what actually happens, not what we think might. So that's episode 3 done. Today we spoke about how the fluff in books is necessary, a tactic for keeping your interests under control, the confidence-competence loop, and how AI is irrelevant. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode, and I will see you in the next one.